So this is the first time I've had a chance to see you swim. The first thing I notice is when you're breathing, your leading arm is really pushing down. Now this video is in slow motion, so don't panic, you're not really swimming that slow. The next thing I notice is, especially with the right arm, your arm tends to be entering the water, almost crossing your center line. You do go ahead and extend forward nicely, a little deeper than I would like ideally, but I know you have some issues with that right arm, so I'm not so concerned about that. The big thing really concerns me is that pushing down initially and not back, because that's not propelling you forward in any way. From this angle, and you'll see it again in a moment, you can really see how low your hips are in the water. And in order to work on that, you're really going to need to work on pushing on your chest, almost swimming downhill. Here already your head is very deep in the water, so really it's going to be a lot more about pushing on your chest. Some books call it pressing your buoy, others call it downhill swimming. Whatever it is, the goal is to get those hips up higher on the surface of the water so that on every stroke as you rotate, you're actually breaking the surface of the water. Along those same lines, with your kick, when you're kicking, you will break the surface of the water with your feet. There'll be a nice foamy, bubbly thing following you along right by your feet. It's not that your feet are out of the water, it's just they're right at the surface. Right now your kick is not terribly effective. It's not terrible, but it's just that you're not kicking with a lot of force. The force on your kick is really coming on the downstroke. Like we talked about, it's like kicking a soccer ball where you're really kicking from your hip, which you seem to be here, but I think you have a lot more potential with your kick. Here's a little later, no, it's not. I thought it was. As long as that left arm is pushing straight down and not bent at all. But basically, when we get to this point in the stroke, I'd like to see your arms up higher in the water. Here we can see from the front how badly that left arm is, even when it's bent, it's really crossing over the center line, especially when you're breathing. You're overcompensating, where you should really be holding steady and on your side with your core and not relying on your arm to put you in that position. Here I think is a little bit later in the swim workout where we were working on getting your elbow a little bit higher, kind of like chicken wings out away from your body, where your hand should be moving down the outside of your body with a really bent arm. You're going to have to put a lot of focus on bending your arms because you've really had pretty much of a straight arm catch up until this point. It's going to feel awkward, but ultimately it will create less drag and you will be able to move through the water a lot faster and have a better turnover with your stroke. Here already you can see, since you're moving better through the water, especially the left arm is looking better here, your elbow tends to be out, and your hips are higher in the water because you're moving faster. So overall, I think this here is a good start. I did mention in the write-up you're breathing late, which you can see here. Arm is pushing down, your head is still up breathing. That's something we can fix pretty easily with some drills. And here's one last shot just coming towards the camera. I always like these. Really gives you a good idea of how much bend you've got in your arms. Much better bend here towards the end of the session.